Good afternoon and welcome back to another fantastic session on the DIY Global Network. I am Ken Hughes, your host. I'm a social scientist, fascinated with the psychology and understanding of consumer behavior, particularly for the DIY industry on this series. So we've enjoyed a fantastic number of series over the last few months, and today will be no different. Hope you're all feeling well wherever you are. I know this is getting a bit like Groundhog Day for many of us. The vaccine rollout being slower than we think. But look, it gives us more time to strategize, gives us more time to look at our businesses and to work out the future. And today is going to be no different in terms of a session on that. I know I was using a metaphor the other day about, how this finish line that we're all trying to race for, we're hoping that the vaccines and all our businesses get back to normal. It's a little, I think, like training for a marathon. I don't know, have any of you ever been runners? Have you trained for a marathon? But imagine you've signed up for a marathon and you've done the 6 months training. It takes maybe about 6 months to train for a marathon. You've done all the short runs, you've done the long runs, you've done the core training, you've done the nutritional plan, and it's race day, and you get to race day and you're at the starting line and you tape up your nipples because that's a thing for runners, long distance. And then you start running and the wall. You've heard that metaphor of runners hitting the wall. It's about 20 miles on a 26-mile marathon race. About the 20-mile mark, you'll hit the wall. And the wall is a real thing. The glycogen in your muscles is gone. And no matter how much you've trained, you just start to slow down. Sometimes you'll even see marathon walkers start to walk or stagger at this stage. But they will keep going because they know they're nearly there. They push through the wall, they get to the finish line. Imagine you're running a race and you just hit the wall. And you think, oh, well, I'll get there. I only have another 6 miles to go. And somebody whispers in your ear, oh, yeah, but this is an ultra marathon, don't you? This isn't a 26-mile road race. This is a 40-mile road race. Did you not see that at registration? And I think that's exactly how we all feel right now. We thought we saw the light at the end of the tunnel. Turned out it was a train. I think it's just we need to adapt to that a little bit more, and we need to get ready for a slightly longer game, slightly longer recovery in 2021. And that's what these sessions are for. This is what this platform is. There are over 700 of us on this platform, and every single day you have a chance to connect with your peers, to discuss and debate. And I know a lot of the chat is coming my way on social media after all these sessions, and also in the platform itself. People really appreciate this platform and the thought leadership that's happening here, the interviews with John Herbert and the CEOs. And also remember, it's your opportunity to talk to each other. A lot of people are using this platform to debate and discuss and pose questions to each other. So do that, and link in with the sponsors. The sponsors are here too, and let's acknowledge them, because ultimately without sponsors, these things don't often work. And so spend time and visit the sponsors, just like you would in a real live event. Anyway, enough from me. What is today about? Today, I'm really excited about today's topic. Every single one of the speakers that we've had on this series so far has pointed, of course, to the importance of good digital presence. I said it, Rick said it, Pascal said it, Stefanos Miramonter said it, Raynar said it. We've all said the same thing. We need to understand, of course, the physical store is important, digital store getting more and more important. How do you ensure good digital presence? How do you make sure that your customers and that your brand is well represented digitally? These are massive topics. And today we're lucky enough to have two speakers, not one, but two, from Factor A with us. And so if you think about, I suppose, the Amazon challenge, how do we represent? A lot of people, when they talk to me, certainly about Amazon, they think, well, it's a very two-dimensional platform. I'm worried when I put my brand up there, how that brand might look. It'll kind of get lost in the content of Amazon. It doesn't look great. I'm a brand. I want to control that content. So if you're a brand, this is a session you're really, really going to pick up a pen and take some notes on. Also, by the way, if you're a retailer, you need to understand the Amazon platforms. And if you're a consultant, you need to understand what can be done inside Amazon from a brand store point of view. So I'm really delighted that our two speakers from Factor A are going to join us, and they are going to unfold how to maximize your brand presence on Amazon within a brand store, which is actually going to be a new concept for a lot of you watching today in terms of how best you can do that. So this is going to be a really exciting session. So I'm going to introduce them one by one on screen. So Katrina, do you want to join me first? This is Katrina Lertz. Katrina is the team lead brand content for Factor A. You have looked after hundreds of brand campaigns. I know that for a fact. If you unmute yourself there so we can have a little chat. Great to see you. Where are you? I think you're in Cologne, are you?
Yes, I am.
Excellent. How are you today?
Well, I'm actually quite good. I'm excited for this session, but otherwise than that.
Good. Really? Is that your home or is that your office?
I went to the office today because I thought, why not? To have actually also interconnect with my colleague Pauline, who's going to join us in a moment.
Okay, yeah, good. Because if that was your home, it would be really, really huge. An enormous glass cage home.
I'm here at the moment. There's no one here.
No, you're on your own, yo. What about DIY? What's your own expertise? Are you a DIY person? Do you own a tool belt? Do you own a drill? How good are you at DIY personally?
Well, I think I have lived alone for like 10 years. So you learn as you go, because there's a lot of stuff that I at some point that broke or that I had to fix or that I wanted to do. So I learned as I go. I think by now I'm actually pretty good. I have a huge set of tools at home that I can use to do everything basically myself.
All right.
So I'm really like
what was the best project you did during lockdown? Best DIY project that you're proudest of during lockdown?
That's actually a very good question. What I did, basically, I redid my living room. Before, I always was in the office. When I now spend all my time at home, was sitting there, was like, yeah, I should really like redo that. So I basically bought a new TV. I basically hung it on the wall. I bought a new couch and everything. I put up some new bookshelves, all of that.
Okay, bookshelves, putting up bookshelves counts as DIY. Buying a couch definitely does not count as DIY.
Well, I set it up myself because it came in pieces, so I had to.
Okay, I don't know. Putting things together, there's two camps in DIY. I think putting things together doesn't count as DIY. Anyway, just really happy to have you here today, and I'm really excited to hear what you have to say about Brand Store within Amazon. So let's join with your colleague Pauline Lamron. Pauline is the search advertising consultant with Factor A. Here you are. Again, you're responsible for strategy and operations of advertising campaigns. I know both of you will look at this subject from two different angles. So anyway, really happy to have you here, Pauline, today. You are obviously in the same office, are you?
Yeah, actually, yeah. I'm also in the office today for the same reason as for Katarina, actually.
Okay, so are you on opposite sides of the same wall?
Yeah, I think so, right?
Yeah, you could just, if you had a hammer, if you could take this hammer, you could just blow through and have a chat to each other. It'd be great. Okay, and listen, so welcome to the platform. I'm delighted to have you here too. I'm going to ask you the same question in terms of DIY. How are you a DIY person?
I think I'm definitely less a DIY person than Katarina. She has greater skills than I do. What I especially like is plants. I'm definitely a plant mom. So I used quite a lot of time during the lockdown to put some plants on my balcony and love to take care of them and to try out new things I could set up here for the summertime now.
You're a DIY person and grow it yourself. Grow it yourself. That's what we call you. Okay, brilliant. Listen, and thank you for joining us today. So you're going to both present. I know you're going to take half and half each, so we're not going to see you both on screen at all times. So I think, Kathleen, you're going to start first, are you? So listen, I'm going to hand the screen over to you for your keynote, and then what we'll do is we'll join afterwards for questions. Anyone watching this live, I know many of you watch this on demand, but if you are watching this live, please do pop some questions in on the platform. I think it is over here or over here. I never get this right where it is on the question. So on the platform, on the DIY platform, there's a space for questions. So please do populate that and they'll pop up with me. And so listen, Katrina, over to you. You shared your screen. Look, you're ready to go. So I'm going to kill my camera and bring it over to you, ladies. Ladies, take it away.
Thank you very much, Ken. All right. Yeah, welcome everyone also again from my side to our presentation today. The topic is basically how you can represent your brand on Amazon to actually also influence your off Amazon success. So let's kick this off. First, I would like to quickly introduce ourselves again. So yeah, as Ken already mentioned, my name is Katarina Lurz. I'm the team lead of brand content at Factor A. I have worked at Factor A, I think, for over 4 years now. And yeah, again, I'm here today with my colleague, Pauline. If you want to say a few words about yourself quickly.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Katarina. Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm also very, very happy to be here today. I'm also working at Factor A since, almost 4 years as well, actually. And looking forward to deep dive into the topic advertising and answer all your questions.
Thank you very much. Yes. First, a little introduction about about Factor A. You might not have heard about us yet. So we were founded in 2015 with headquarters in Cologne, Germany. We are a digital agency focusing on Amazon. We have over 100 Amazon experts from over 60 nationalities, most of them based in Cologne and a few in our small office in London. We are operating in all Amazon markets. So like the traditional one like Germany, UK, France, and so on, but also in the new markets like Netherlands, Sweden, and Poland, who just launched very recently. We have 5 different service lines in total, which is content creation, which is my area of expertise, paid advertising, which is Pauline's field of expertise, as well as retail management, consulting, and software. And we are now part of that, which is a global network of digital agencies. In case you also want to learn more about what we do, we also have a YouTube channel. You can find it easily as under Factor A Part of Debt on YouTube, and then you can check out a few of the live streams we have done. So furthermore, what we would just like want to point out, we also have an Amazon Roundtable. So yeah, this is basically just a platform where different vendors and sellers can come. We also have a few Amazon experts joining. Then you can basically just discuss very recent Amazon topics and discuss and exchange with other brands who might have the same questions and struggles as you do. Okay, so here's our agenda for today. We will start with a little introduction about Amazon in general, and then we will move on to content and paid advertising, where we will tell you, yeah, how can you actually build your brand by means of these services. So first of all, what we always need to be aware of, I think this is not completely new to everyone, Amazon is important. And especially in Europe, you can see here are the top B2C marketplaces in Europe. And among the first 6 places, 5 are occupied by Amazon. This is an overview from 2019, meaning back then we only had Amazon Germany, UK, France, Italy, and Spain. Now this might even rearrange itself again now that the Netherlands, Sweden, and Poland joined as well. So let's take a closer look at the customer journey, because one question a lot of you will probably have is, yes, so my customer is looking for a specific DIY product and they come to my store, especially because they are looking for someone from an expert from the field who can tell them what product they need and to consult them. But how does that work now, especially now that all the DIY shops are closed for a month? And how does it actually work now that more and more customers start their journey online and not offline anymore? So first, a customer usually enters the awareness period, which means he starts to browse. Basically what happens there, he starts to search via either Google or Amazon or maybe even eBay, where he then actually starts to look for, okay, what am I actually looking for? But when he gets a more concrete idea, he enters the consideration page where he will start to look at specific products. So he will look at online stores, websites, detailed pages, and so on, and also read the customer reviews to really learn, okay, what do other customers think about this product? Then they enter the purchase phase, where then they will actually decide for a product and make a purchase. And then they might become actually advocates of your brand, because they will start to review and share information about the product on maybe their social media, or post a review via Amazon or any other e-commerce platform they might have entered. And there will also be word of mouth recommendation when they recommend the product to their friends and family. And this is actually where this customer can become a loyal customer, because he will actually subscribe to the brand. He will become a follower of the brand, and he will start to purchase additional products, or even be or repeat purchase a same product. So especially interesting already here is how customers actually enter into their product research. Google is the most important or the most frequently used search engine in the world, which means lots of customers will start their search on Google if they don't directly go to Amazon anyway. However, when they type in a specific product, like in this case, a drilling machine, what happens, 1/3 of the results on the Google results page are owned by Amazon. So we have results via Google AdWords, via Google Shopping, and also via Google Organic Results, which means it's very likely that the customer will directly enter Amazon, because especially he might already have an account there, which means it's very easy for him to engage and to make a purchase. He might also be a Prime customer, which means he knows, okay, if I order today, I will have it tomorrow. So there are a lot of advantages of why a customer would then click further to Amazon. And this is where now comes in, how do I actually build my brand on Amazon? Because a customer might get in touch with my brand on Amazon first. And you all know it, a first impression counts. So what happens here is then that you need a comprehensive approach. Of course, you need Amazon expertise. Every one of you who already is active on Amazon will know Amazon is very special in a lot of ways. There are a lot of guidelines that you need to know, a lot of regulations that you need to know, and you really need to know what option does Amazon have for me to actually build my brand. But then also Amazon claims to be one of the most customer-friendly companies in the world, which means their focus is in the end on the customer. So you really need to understand the customer journey. You need to understand your Amazon customer, who might also be a different customer than the one off Amazon. And your aim should also be to create long-term customer trust. and this becomes especially important because every day, especially, or for example, on the Amazon Germany marketplace, 160,000 products are uploaded each and every day. So it is very important at a very early point to stand out as a brand. And this is, of course, you know it yourself, very tricky because there are a lot of competitor brands on Amazon that you have to compete against. But this is where you should start to actually represent your brand and create brand recognizability. You can do that by means of, for example, A+ pages and brand stores. I will explain these terms a little more in detail later on. You should also try to convey your corporate identity on Amazon and really find a balance between informative content, strong imagery, and branded content. But then what is also important that you then further enhance brand awareness and product consideration by means of well-placed campaigns, especially in sponsored advertising, which Pauline will explain a little more in detail later on. And here you have Amazon actually offers opportunities to work with offensive and defensive campaigns to really put your brand on the menu and to advocate your brand to potential customers. So, and this is now the last slide of our introduction, which will then, after which we will dive in. So first of all, here you can see again, how should your activities in Amazon build up. So usually start, of course, first and foremost with organic visibility, which you will be able to reach by search engine optimized content and by generating Amazon specific keywords. From there, a customer will then get in touch with your so-called branded content, which are product images, A+ content. But then you also have an always on destination, which you will be able, which your customers will be able to use again and again, which is the brand store. Then you also need to start to actually build your brand by means of sponsored and programmatic advertising. And then you will be able to generate long-term customer trust that will influence your business and your customers off and on Amazon. Okay, let's now dive into our content section. So first of all, let's take a look at this overview. So what you can see already on Amazon, I mean, it's the same case with Google and every other platform. Keywords vary from category to category. On the top right, you can see the DIY category, which is here in green. And what you can see, the clear character tells us that most customers look for a specific product type, which means they look for, I don't know, a hammer or a drilling machine or some Scotch tape or whatsoever, which means, however, they're looking for a product and not your brand. Of course, this puts you a little bit in a difficult position because the best case would be that a customer directly looks for your brand because he knows your brand, but the customer is looking for the best deal here. But this really means that you need to make sure that you create brand recognizability, because only then customers will actually start to look for your brand, and they will type in a product, see a result that is from your brand, remember they have bought from you, they were very satisfied with the service, and they buy again. So the first thing here, what we need to look at is, of course, our SEO optimized content, because of course, Amazon is still an e-commerce platform. Of course, you want to do branding, but the best way to also gain your customers' trust is by actually also providing in-depth product information, because by the end of the day, the customer still wants to make a purchase and not only learn about your brand, which means you need to use your SEO optimized content to increase your organic visibility and your traffic, and to also add all relevant product information, because this will still be the first thing a customer looks. Because usually, even if a customer, for example, only puts drilling machine into the search bar, he already knows what sort of product he's looking for. So he will look for those certain features that are important for him. And also on a side note, what is very important, you might say, hey, so okay, but on Amazon, a customer can only browse. He doesn't have an expert in the field who can then consult him, like, what is the right product for you? But this is actually where customer reviews come in, because then a customer also knows, okay, this is not someone from the brand who was trying to sell me something. No, these are other customers who have actually bought the product. So make sure to check out your reviews to actually find out what customers are looking for and what customers are searching for. So you can really, really address and target your customer. So, but if we go a little further, of course, you want brand recognizability. And this is where you should look also at your website. Of course, your website is something where if a customer wants to specifically research about your brand, this is where he will land. However, you will not be able to transfer the website in the exact same way to Amazon, because Amazon does not offer this. But if you work with certain color schemes and your logo and images, you will be able to actually also represent your brand and not only your products in Amazon. And this might be interesting because a customer will go to your website once he already is familiar with the brand, but not before he actually starts his product search. So, and if the customer then lands on Amazon, I have a few examples from different brands that are doing a very good job at the moment in this regard. So here we, for example, have the product images. The product images are basically the first thing a customer sees when he lands on a product detail page, especially on the smartphone. And you really have the opportunity to combine your branded content or your branding with in-depth product information, because you can, for example, as in this example, work with infographics, and you can start to already build your brand, especially on a smartphone. As mentioned, this will be the first touch point your customers have. But then we also have premium A+ content or premium A+ content. So there's a standard version and there's a premium version. A+ content is basically an opportunity Amazon offers for your product detail page where you can combine imagery and video content and textual content. And this is also where you can do a little more branding. While your bullet points in your title should be more about the product and to actually address your customer and how he searches for a product, in the A+ content, you can directly include really relevant information also about your brand. The A+ content is not SEO relevant for the Amazon algorithm, but it is indexed by Google. So this is also where you can really enhance the product search your customer starts via Google. And here you can really use your premium A+ content to improve the customer experience, to visualize your product, to represent your brand, and enhance the product information. And then last but not least, we also have the Amazon Brand Store. So the Amazon Brand Store can basically be considered an own little website you can create within the Amazon Cosmos. So the great thing here is that when you set up a brand store, you get your own URL, which you can then also use in all sorts of campaigns, which I will show in a moment. And the great thing is also that this is really up to you how you want to do this. There's no limit to how many subpages you can use or to how long your pages can be, because you can really use that to create landing pages for your different product categories. And you can also use that, for example, to advocate new arrivals or product launches or special offers, but also your brand. So we have a lot of customers, a lot of clients who then say, hey, I also want to build a subpage about, because especially in Amazon, customers increasingly start to look also for information about the brand. There are certain features that might be really relevant for him. So this is really a good idea to add here, because in case a customer wants to learn more, he can find every sort of information in this brand store and doesn't bounce or goes to another website to actually find out more. So let's take a closer look here again. So the great thing is that your Amazon brand store can really be used to drive organic traffic also to your store. Again, it is not really indexed by the Amazon algorithm. However, we can already see in the US at the moment that Amazon brand stores become also visible via the organic search. But also, in addition, your Amazon store is indexed by Google. Meaning if a customer, for example, searches for your specific brand, your store can actually be a result on Google where your customer can then be forwarded to. Furthermore, as I just mentioned, you get an own URL that you can use for your store. You can basically include it in all sorts of also of Amazon campaigns like email or LinkedIn or Instagram or wherever you are active as a brand. And then you can forward customers directly to your store. This is especially beneficial, for example, if you are on a smartphone, and most customers already, especially in Germany, I think every second person at least uses Amazon, which means on their smartphone app, the customer usually never logs out. He is a Prime member, which means if a customer then is forwarded via your Instagram campaign to your Amazon brand store, it is very easy for them to make a purchase because they're already a customer. They can directly put the product in their basket. Very easygoing, very quick purchase decision. So this can be very beneficial for your brand in total. And furthermore, you can also use your sponsored advertising or programmatic advertising campaigns to forward customers to your store. And this is actually now, so in this case, yeah, DSP and sponsor brand specifically. And this is also now my cue to hand over to my colleague, Pauline.
Thank you, Katharina. I will share my screen. Okay, I hope this works. Yeah, thank you, Katarina, for this this first introduction to content. I will go now on with paid advertising, and actually to drive some visibility on your product detail pages on Amazon. It is of course essential to have some optimized content, as Katarina mentioned, like to have product pictures, to have descriptions, A+ content, and to have even a brand store which is set up correctly. But after you've done this, the major key is still to drive some traffic on your product detail pages, and this is reachable only if you do also some more advertising on top of that, so that you can over time increase your placements in the organic ranking and be visible for customer on the maybe on the first page on Amazon, and also not only on advertising but also on the organic product results that were shown on the search result pages. So I will go on with paid advertising. There are actually two different advertising groups, I would say, within Amazon. We have search advertising, which is mostly on Amazon, and then we have the DSP, so the programmatic solution from Amazon, which is mostly off Amazon, but which has also some placements on Amazon. I would start with search advertising, which is on Amazon. There are different ad types available on Amazon. We have sponsored brand, sponsored product, and sponsored display, which have, as shown here on this slide, different advantages. I will deep dive a bit more into sponsored brand and sponsored products in the next slide. I just want to give a couple of words on sponsored display at this stage, since I think they are very relevant in the, generally speaking, but especially for the DIY category, as they are a great chance to do some cross and upselling. Meaning if you have some drilling machine on Amazon and you're also offering some accessories relating to this drilling machine, you're able to do with some advertising, to promote actually these maybe these accessories you have available for your drilling machine, and this will appear directly next to the product information. So very visible, obviously, and very interesting for a customer who maybe need more than just a drilling machine and need actually the full pack around your drilling machine. So that's it actually on sponsored display. I would go on now, as mentioned, with sponsored products and sponsored brands, starting with sponsored product ads. So sponsored product ads, I think they are, when talking about visibility with ads on Amazon, I think they are the most powerful tool for different reasons. As you can see here, first of all, there are a lot of placements available for sponsored product ads. These sponsored product ads are keyword based. You can find them on the search result page. So that means actually they are quite easy to set up, because if you have done some content optimization before, you've worked on some keywords, and these keywords you've listed, you're able to reuse them basically for your campaigns. Meaning you just have to rework and maybe to enrich them a little bit. But this is not a huge step that you have to take at this stage for sponsored product ads. And they are actually quite a lot on search result page. So here it's an example I found on Amazon. We have here at the very top of search already 4 placements. I guess it's the maximum. Currently, there are usually 4 more placements in the middle and also some 4 more at the bottom of the page. Meaning you have usually up to 12 different placements for this only ad type, mixed with the result of the organic search, which start actually here. And yeah, so that's a great tool to increase actually your visibility on your product detail pages, especially also because it's quite similar to Google at this stage. The mention sponsored is pretty small. You just have here next to the product title, this sponsored word indicating it's some advertising. And otherwise, it just looks exactly the same than some product from the organic ranking, meaning a lot of Amazon customers are even not making the difference actually between these products here, sponsored, and here this one, which is actually not advertising. So that's a great tool, sponsored product ads, definitely to increase your visibility on product detail pages. And if the Amazon customer clicks on the image or on the product title, they will land directly on the product detail page, where there, as Katharina mentioned earlier, they can find all the product information and all the the customer reviews they need there. After sponsored product ads, we have sponsored brand ads, which are actually also interesting, but for a complete other reason, I would say. Sponsored brand ads, they are, I would say, bigger. They are displayed at the top of the search result, or sometimes on product detail pages, as we've seen in Katharina's part. They are also keyword based, meaning here again, you can, same as for sponsored product, work quite a lot with your content base, I would say. And they can show up to 3 different products, such as here with my example. It can be also 3 sub pages from your store, meaning if you have different DIY categories, would say one with home DIY, something with garden, you are also able to display the different sub pages of your store in there. You have a claim that you can choose pretty flexible, and very interesting, you're able to put the brand store as a landing page, which I think nowadays is also the most interesting thing to use. You're also able to just create a basic product list, but link your sponsored brand to the brand store. Increases here again the awareness around your product. Amazon customer can discover a bit more the values from your brand, inform themselves about the products. So that's here definitely a best practice. Use your brand store and shift even more traffic to your brand store with advertising. So that's the first point here. And the second point is, as you can see here on the mobile screenshot, Amazon is actually putting more and more effort into making things interactive for the Amazon customer. Meaning over the past month, there were a few changes in the ads format. And for example, here, this sponsored brand on mobile right now, they have the possibility to get a larger image, which is then in the end making your ad even bigger. I guess it's here almost the half of the screen on mobile, which is just related to Philips Hue. So that's also a great opportunity to catch the eye of the customer when the customer starts browsing on Amazon. And this image will probably be launched also at some point on desktop, as we see them also more and more appearing on desktop. So this is really an increasing trend, and we also recommend to use them basically to increase your brand awareness. And in this same category, would say Amazon has launched also something new, which is called sponsored brand video ads, which is slightly different compared to the sponsored brand which we've just seen. So basically, with sponsored brand video ads, you're able to show a short video. It's between 6 and 45 seconds on search result pages again. So it's usually placed in the middle or at the bottom of the search result page, as here on my example, and it shows one specific product. And then you have the video, which is related to this specific product, and everything related to the product detail page. So that's here again a great opportunity to have a greater opportunity to show the values of your brand or your product advantages, your USPs. So yeah, that's another tool you're able to use to drive visibility and also to inform the Amazon customers in the end of your product. But as we have seen, so we have right now seen sponsored displays, sponsored products, sponsored brand, they are all based on Amazon. So you're just reaching Amazon customers that are right now on Amazon. And if you want to go actually a step further, you're able to use the programmatic solution provided by Amazon, which is called the Amazon DSP, and which is actually I would say a smart tool. I will show that afterwards. First of all, I would like to show the fact that both advertising, so the programmatic solution, DSP, and search are very good to combine on Amazon, because they all have different advantages. So yeah, for search advertising, as we've seen, targeting people that are already closer to purchase, since they're already searching for products on Amazon and yeah, interesting in your category. And for a DSP, you're able, on the one hand, to retarget outside of Amazon this potential customer that did not buy the product yet, but are still interested in it, or even to go broader in the funnel and target potential customer who are just browsing or searching for some similar products in the category, which is then a step further, because it's then also off Amazon. So your reach is even broader when using DSP, and yeah, driving these campaigns on Amazon fuel of course the scope of people you're able to reach via DSP. So they have a positive influence, the one on the other. And how works DSP? There are actually different targeting options that are available. I would say there are three groups, which are demographic, behavioral, and advertising specific. So demographic is, I think, the one which is used the less, because it's gender and location based. It's good to have, but what Amazon uses actually the most, and which is also the most interesting, is behavioral, meaning you target people based on their search, browsing, or purchase history. And within this group, there are two subcategories, I would say, which are lifestyle and in-market. So in-market, you're already close to the customer, because it's over the past 30 days who has been searching for a product in this category. And lifestyle, it's who has been in this broader category, such as outdoor enthusiastic, for example, over the past year. So it's a bit broader, but very interesting as well. And then we have advertising specific, which is then remarketing or lookalike. So based on on your product, basically, where you're able to retarget them. And yeah, in the end, that's here one example that we had in the past. After 3 to 6 months, after you've optimized your product and you've launched some paid advertising campaigns, these campaigns help you to increase your product detail pages, so your glance views, basically. So yeah, in the end, paid advertising very useful as an always-on approach, and this helps you to increase your product visibility, and organically, especially in the time, so that your visibility is not only paid based, but after a while based on the organic ranking on the first page in the best case. Yeah, and I think that's it from my side. I guess I would hand over back again to Ken for the Q&A session.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Pauline and Katharina. That was amazing. You've blown my mind, which is quite easy to do because I have quite a small mind. There's a few questions that have come in straight away, so we'll get straight into questions. I have a few that I've written down myself, and there's a few coming in on the platform and on social media. So by the way, if you are watching live, now is the time to tap a question in over there and get it to me. First one is from Oliver. Okay, I'll read it from the screen because it's better. Thank you, Katharina and Pauline. Do you see any competition from Amazon coming down the line, the likes of Wish or Alibaba? Could they present a chance to destabilize the market?
What was that? Alibaba and?
Wish.
Wish. That's actually a good question. I mean, to be honest, I think here in Europe, not so much at the moment, because especially when we, for example, take a look at Germany, because yeah, I can say most about this market. Yeah. Customers, for example, made in Germany is still a very, very good keyword. And to be honest, I think it will be very hard for Alibaba to actually to really destabilize the market, because in Germany, I mean, more than 50% of Germans are Amazon users. They use Amazon. They have either or Amazon Prime Video, they're Amazon shoppers. I think, to be honest, for Alibaba, it will be very, very hard to actually destabilize the market and to challenge Amazon's pole position that they have here.
Okay. Do you agree, Pauline? Same thing to you, or?
Yeah, I agree with that. As Katharina mentioned, I think this is really, Amazon has an own ecosystem in the end. Like it's very, you have the app, you have Prime, you have also some same-day delivery. So there, it's, I would say, so easy, and that makes people comfortable in the end with using Amazon.
Yeah, I guess it's the same thing for WeChat in China. You know, their ecosystem is such a piece of locked down kit that's difficult to maybe get out of. Another question in from Borja. Based on your experience, what is this is where you all get to see my Botox. Better lean forward to read the screen. Based on your experience, what is the net return percentage-wise a brand can expect from a paid ad campaign on Amazon, including the investment in content? As someone who's thinking, if I'm going to have to pay for this, what's the return? It's a great question, to be fair. So in terms of return on investment percentage-wise, any kind of industry stats for DIY, or just in general, in fact, if a brand invests in a brand store, what can we expect in terms of return? It's obviously going to cost. It's going to cost you in terms of design. It's going to cost. So any idea?
I think it's very, I mean, DIY is covering several categories, right? And each brand has a different positioning and a different product portfolio. So I guess it's a bit difficult for me actually to say, like, at least from the paid side, to say that's what's possible.
But I mean, it's a fair question. I mean, if I'm a marketing director and someone comes to me and says, we want to invest 100,000, 50,000 on Amazon store build because I was on a webinar and Pauline said it's the thing to do. You know, the first thing I'm going to do is say, okay, show me the ROI. You know, show me that this works. Yeah. I mean, everything you've presented is absolutely guaranteed. You know, it looks fantastic, but yeah, show me the numbers. And so any case study work that has been done that shows that, you know, it's to show the return. It's a hard thing. I mean, sponsorship is difficult to show in return. So is it just presence maybe? I mean, I did like the point you made, I think it was you, Katharina, starting off, this idea that the Amazon store indexes on Google. So even outside of Amazon, building the store itself inside of Amazon for presence helps you with your general Google search. And you did say that, you know, from a search point of view, Google and Amazon rule in terms of search. So Google being the #1 destination, it would make sense, just regardless of ROI, it would make sense just to have a brand store presence on Amazon, even just to bump your Google stats. Yeah.
We actually have we even have a few customers now who are like, okay, technically we don't really like, they are really trying to use their Amazon store, because I mean, we have also a few clients who are, for example, in the FMCG area, so fast-moving consumer goods. Yeah. So of course their margin is not very high, because if you are, that could also be in a DIY category. If you, for example, sell Scotch tape, well, how much is it, like $2 or something, or $3 or maybe 5 tops? And of course here your margin is not as high. And of course you really need to think about, okay, how much am I willing to invest? And the thing is really like that we have a few customers who then say, okay, it's really not like worth for us maintaining our own website and sell and ship via that website, and also have Amazon. So we even have a few customers who now say, okay, we're only going to do the Amazon store, because at the moment this is the easier option for us, and we have more return on investment via the store. I think one thing, especially when you talk about return on investment, is really the question, what are we looking at? Because of course it also depends a little bit on your margin. Because I mean, if you, of course, and especially if you start to set up your Amazon business, it has a price tag. I mean, in general, you can upload like SEO optimized content or a brand store for free. Amazon doesn't charge you for that. But of course, in the beginning, you need to invest to actually create all the imagery and to create all the video content you might need. And that has a tag. But I mean, we have a few clients. I think one of our clients who was actually, especially now with all DIY shops closed during Corona, he actually was able to double his revenue via Amazon, just because customers did not have the opportunity anymore to go to a store and to, and to make a purchase. And this customer actually doubled their revenue via Amazon was a customer with like a very small margin with a very low price product.
Okay. So, I mean, there's a good case to answer Bora's question then. I mean, and I suppose you could also argue that, you know, just having a solid brand presence that looks good, feels good, and is in line with your brand values on the world's biggest online retailer, regardless of ROI, just makes a lot of sense. There's a question here for you, Pauline, from Thomas. This is a question that you were talking about search and DSP. By the way, what does DSP stand for? He's written it, but what does it stand for? Do you know?
Demand side platform.
Demand
Side platform.
That's very technical. So the question is, if you're starting off advertising on Amazon, which this is a really good one, and you know this because you do it every day. So if you're starting off, which do you prioritize? Do you prioritize search? Because you presented the kind of two options.
Yeah.
Do you prioritize search, or do you you called it the in-Amazon solution, or do you prioritize that DSP off Amazon solution? So if you're starting off, where do you place your bet?
I think that's always a balance to find between both. In the best case scenario, both should work at the same time. But if you just started on Amazon, basically, if you follow the way shown up by Katharina, like optimizing your product detail pages, showing your store, and then you start gathering reviews, I would say the most interesting is to start with search, so on Amazon, so that you can increase the traffic on your product detail pages, and then go off Amazon, because you've gathered also enough visibility to be selected and to be also off Amazon. And also DSP, what you have to keep in mind is DSPs, since you are off Amazon and you have a greater reach than for search, the budget is also much higher, which is obviously from a marketing perspective not automatically the case. If you just started on Amazon, you're not ready to spend some 5 or 10 or even 15,000 euro a month on DSP. So you can start maybe with only the half of it or even less on Amazon, and then scale up. Off Amazon is if you see if depending on your result and how much you're able to invest and what are your goals in the end.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair enough. Another question in here from Steve. Can you please explain the term Google indexed a little further? That's a fair question. We always assume everyone knows what we're talking about. So explain Google indexation a little bit further, please.
Yeah, sure. Indexed by Google basically just means, so Google, what you can say Google indexes the whole front end. So what the Google algorithm pretty much does, like as a very basic explanation, it basically scans your whole front end for keywords. So for example, so the Amazon algorithm, for example, is very specific what they index. So for example, they only index like the above the fold content. However, Google basically looks at completely at all the content you upload. And so for example, if I upload something like I don't know, duct tape from all over the world, just very random, and someone types that into the Google search bar, basically what happens is that the Google algorithm will match this exact sentence to the sentence I have on my website. One thing, for example, that you also need to be aware here is that what happens very often is a sort of cannibalization via Google. So the Google index, basically, the Google algorithm is way far more advanced than Amazon is at the moment. Which means the Google algorithm, for example, also notices if two different websites have the same content, however. So for example, if I would go ahead and say I'm starting my business on Amazon, I copy and paste what I have on a website to my Amazon website, it might also happen that the Google algorithm is like, yeah, this is probably the same website, I'm only going to show one of them to the customer. This is also how the indexation works. It just basically means, so this is a keyword. If I type in the keyword, Google will also put it in its backend, and at some point, if you then, for example, do some research for keywords on Google, this might also pop up if enough customers use it.
So when you have a client and you're building the brand store, do you purposely then repurpose the web page content for Amazon to make sure that that doesn't happen, that it's not exactly copy and paste, and that therefore you build more traffic? See, you guys know what you're doing. That's why people need to come to you.
Yeah, in the end, you should always try to work with unique content in every platform.
Yeah, I have a question for you, which is interesting. It just popped into my head as you were talking. I'm trying to think, because I look at everything from the consumer angle, from the actual end user perspective, the customer experience, the user experience. And I'm looking at some of the images you put up there, and the images are so good. They're so brand, orientated. They literally look like a mirror image of the website. So it's amazing that you could do that in Amazon. Because one of my critiques in Amazon as a platform is its two-dimensionality, is its boring nature, and it's just a product-led piece. And so any brand owner, of course, wants to portray their brand the best they can. They want as much control, and they feel they give up most of that control when they hand it over to Amazon. So your stuff that you've presented today is the opposite. It's great. Do we confuse a consumer if I go onto Amazon and I end up on the brand store and you've done your job so well that it looks like a fantastic representation of the brand? Am I a bit confused that am I still on Amazon? Have I ended up on the website? Have you done any work or research on, the better you do your jobs, are you confusing the consumer more and saying, hang on, am I still on Amazon? I thought I was on Amazon. Am I back on, Black & Decker? What's going on? Any kind of soft empirical case study or work on that, or just thoughts?
That's actually a very interesting question. I mean, of course, if I go on Amazon, I actually know what I'm looking for. If I want to buy a product, I know exactly what sort of content I'm looking for because I do this, like this is my daily business.
Yeah.
But this is actually a very good question. I have to say, like, there's no, this is like a question I have never asked a customer, because usually when I do testing, of course, I want to see if I, for example, show a customer a store, how do they engage? Where do they engage? Like, how does it work? How do they actually use everything? Whether like a customer so far has not told me they're confused. However, this is a valid point in the end, that if it completely looks like, for example, a Bosch or Black & Decker website, that he's like, okay, where am I still? I mean, if a customer clicks forward from Amazon, I think we're good to, this is fine, because Amazon still has a very unique layout. And as soon as you want to make a purchase, for example, via the Amazon store, you either have the very unique Amazon layout, where it also says directly put into basket.
Yes.
Or if you click on a product, you basically forward it back to the product detail page to actually put it in your basket.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, it's an interesting one to think about. The more we get better at the brand side, the more maybe we think, oh, hang on, maybe it's just as simple as sticking an Amazon logo in every now and then. Okay, another question from Raynar. There are increasing doubts on the authenticity of Amazon user reviews. Are these doubts justified? And if so, what about the consequences for the brands? So negative reviews, are they real? And yeah, okay, yeah, good question. Any thoughts?
So this is actually a very good question. This is a question also like a lot of our clients also struggle with that.
Yes.
Because I say, yeah, this is a very good question. I mean, Amazon tries increasingly, or like has tried for decades, basically to work against that. Also, I mean, of course, especially brands, if they have a product, of course, what happens also sometimes that, or what a lot of customers also fear, is that basically employees at the brand or friends of someone from the brand then post good reviews about a product, for example. Yeah. This is one reason, for example, why Amazon comes up with products such as Vine. Vine review program basically means that what happens is that you as a brand can send dedicated Vine users. They have to be invited by Amazon to the program. You send them a few products, and then they write an in-depth review about your product. So this can be positive, this can be negative, but it will be very in-depth. So it will not only be a sentence I like or I dislike. So it will be very in-depth. And what studies actually have shown that reviews from Vine users are labeled, or like how do you say that? There's more likely by 72% to be labeled as helpful by other Amazon users. Okay. So for example, Vine is really a good way to circumvent that. For customers themselves, what there is, for example, the function to like label a review as helpful or not helpful. That also helps other customers to actually know, okay, is this review like really certified or not? But of course, like the fear is always there. However, what you can do, for example, if you are a vendor and Amazon does the shipping for you, for example, and then some customer, for example, posts a review and says like, hey, so my product arrived too late or something. These are also reviews you can have deleted because they do not reflect on your product or your brand, because this is something that just went wrong, that is individual, and then you can have those deleted.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, for example, someone posts a review about another product or something.
It is always a fear, I think every brand has, leaving those reviews out there in the world, you know. Question from Michael. One of the COVID effects is a dramatic shift to e-commerce, obviously in many categories. How do you expect to shift back to stationary stores later? So the clients that you're working with right now, they're all building brand stores on Amazon. Have you guys had an uplift in business in the last 12 months, you know, in terms of your people coming to you? And do you worry that will now fade away in the next 12 months back to normal?
I mean, what I can say from Factor A point of view, like, I mean, we've really kicked off this business. I mean, 2015 we were founded, but really kicking off it was in 2016, and ever since we've been constantly growing. I mean, this is a very good question. I think also a lot of customers concern themselves with, okay, now that stores are going to open again, like is my Amazon business still that relevant afterwards? What we can see, could see also of the past year, I think that it was in like around April or something, when Amazon, for example, decided only to order system relevant products. So, for example, like, I don't know, baby food or food in general, or stuff you buy at a drugstore. So, and of course, then at first you could see that a lot of our clients were like, okay, I don't know, like Amazon is not ordering from me, so I don't want to invest too much right now. So of course, then, but this was like, I would say probably 2 weeks. And then you could see, okay, the situation is going to relax again. Then ever since, like, it has been surging. I think especially in Pauline's department, we could see that a lot of clients actually doubled their investment, because they, of course, really wanted to leverage that all the stores are closed and that customers now shop on Amazon. I think, I mean, of course, investment might get a little lower again, but it's, I mean, a lot of people, I mean, you can see all these statistics online, how many people actually bought something online for the first time and are now considering to do that continuously. Yeah. So of course, a few people, especially in the beginning, will be like, yes, the stores are open, I'm going to go to the store and actually buy something in person. But is this really going to last? Because still after, I mean, I'm living in Cologne, the stores are always packed at the weekends. It's just so much more convenient to have it delivered to my home. So I don't think that, more people will be online than before the pandemic.
Yeah, I think, I mean, we've had this discussion over the last 6 months too. I think, you know, the incremental spend that we get in the store is obvious. I mean, when people go into a physical store, they will spend more than they intended to spend in a garden center or in a DIY store because of the incrementals. We don't get that online. We get that. But I think there's a number of other people, as you just said, for many reasons, generational, Gen Z, millennial, plus just now, as you're right, busy stores, maybe fear of stores. We're definitely not going to give up online. So listen, I really enjoyed today's session. Great number of questions and engagement from the audience. So thank you for those also. I think for me, certainly it's challenged my perception of what Amazon is and what can be done as a brand. So if I'm watching this as a brand owner or as a wholesaler or as a distributor, I think definitely it's very, very clear that you want to up your brand presence on Amazon, and clearly you guys know what you're doing. So Factor A, your contact details from the beginning of the presentation. So if anyone is watching this on demand, you can skip back, or if you're watching this live, you can go and find those details on demand. Katrina and Pauline, thank you so much for joining us. I'm delighted that you got out of your homes into your office for the day. I can now return you to your homes. Listen, thank you very much for joining us today. So if you want to knock your cameras off there and say goodbye, and we'll see you again soon. For the rest of you on screen, to join me, just a little bit of information on where we're going next on this Road to Recovery series. So next up for the DIY Network series in general is another interview with John Herbert. So John's interviews are spectacular. I mean, I've really been enjoying them as much as my own sessions. I've been enjoying John's sessions, and you know, his interviews with CEOs. It's really great to get inside the minds of the CEO of the various global DIY companies all over the world, looking at the challenges, looking at where 2022 is going. So the next one for John is on the 31st of March at 12 p.m. same time. It's with Matthias Anklerberg, who is the CEO of the Swedish chain and DIY groups called Big Macs. Matthias himself used to work for H&M, used to work for McKinsey, you know, very global guy, global roles, a lot of e-commerce work. And so as a CEO, I think is going to bring a lot of insight into the industry. So make sure you tune in for that. It's on the 31st of March at 12. And then my next session on the Road to Recovery webinar series is with Victoria Nyhover, and I'm really looking forward to this. She has a great startup called Damn Plastics, and she also is a really great speaker on social media, Gen Y, Gen Z. And so this is a topic on sustainability, but I know we're going to drift off into all sorts of other topics as well. But the title of it is Zero Waste DIY, the new cool and sexy sustainable way. So you do want to tune in for that one. That's on the 12th of April at 12 p.m. So make sure you put that in your diary right now if you're watching this live or on demand, to make sure you tune in live and ask Victoria a question. Really looking forward to it. Remember, by the way, on this platform, you can go back and look at any of the series, be they the CEO interviews or be they the webinars that we're doing here on demand. And also there's loads of studies that have been uploaded to the platform that you can download. You can download the slides, you can download the reports. Any speaker that talks about a report has put it up there. There's loads of content on this platform. So go look and find it on the platform. Until next time, I'm Ken Hughes. I hope you've enjoyed today. I certainly have. Opened my mind a lot to the possibilities of Amazon. And until next time, I will see you then.